horror fans and wrestling fans. Once again, it's the Horror Miser Monty G. Yes, it's time to do my results show after last night's very long but highly entertaining WrestleMania 35. Now, I will say, despite the very long event that WrestleMania had, I kind of felt a bit sorry for those fans. When I sat at the stadium that long, I'm pretty sure that they were kind of bit exhausted because the show was rather long, and it kind of showed it, especially by the time that we saw the actual main event between Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. They were kind of not popped that you expected. I mean, they were still cheering, but they were kind of a bit deflated. It kind of showed in that. But overall, it was still a very exciting card. I enjoyed it. I liked some of the matches. Obviously, mostly had a whole bunch of title changes except for one. And we'll see how well did I do. From what I understand, there was a record 16.9 million that was grossed at the event. And, of course, they set another attendance record. One of the things that I truly love about wrestling fans, and especially WWE, when there's a wrestling event, they will go to it. So you got to give Vince McMahon and the rest of his production crew credit for putting on a very good and very spectacular event. Now let's see how well or not well I did in my predictions. Starting off with the Cruiserweight Championship, Tony Nese went on ahead and defeated Buddy Murphy to win the Cruiserweight Championship. Nice to see the Cruiserweights once again setting the stage on fire. Nice way to kick off even the pregame show to get the crowd into it. There was some nice spots in there. It looks like Buddy Murphy was about to win the matchup to do his Murphy's Law, but he missed it. And I think Murphy did some type of a German suplex off the second turnbuckle and did a running knee for the 1, 2, 3. And they now have a new Cruiserweight champion, Tony Nese. And I think it's also time that Buddy Murphy he's really done a lot. So I think it's time for him to get called up to the main event roster. Well, unfortunately, I did pick Buddy Murphy, so now I'm down 0-1. Also doing the pregame warm-up, we have the Women's Battle Royal, which was won by, of all people, Carmella. She eliminated, I think she eliminated Sonya Deville and Asuka in succession. I think Brooke Logan it looked like she's about to win the match by eliminating Sonya Deville and Sasuke in a session, but Kamala dove back into the ring where she was hiding and eliminated her with a super kick, and she wound up winning the matchup, which was quite surprising. And, of course, very disappointing because I chose Asuka to win this matchup because I thought that after having her lose the title, the SmackDown Women's Championship to Charlotte Flair a week ago, I think they were going to, throw her a bone and have her win this matchup, but she didn't. So they gave it to Carmella. So now I'm 0-2. For the Raw Tag Team Championship, it looks like Kurt Hawkins' losing streak is finally over because he and Zack Ryder won the Tag Team Championships because they had this gimmick with Kurt Hawkins on his huge losing streak. I think he was like 0-269 or something. Yeah, it was a very funny matchup. It has another good spots in there. It looks like the Revival is going to win the matchup with a series of late falls. Rollins had rolled up Dawson for the pin as a duo, formerly known as Major Brothers, recaptured the team championship for the first time in over a decade. So, but now I'm 0-3, and I'm not getting off to a good start here. In the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, Braun Strowman won the matchup. It was kind of funny because the two Saturday night guys, Colin Jost and Michael C, I think you pronounce his name, they came into the ring and hit underneath the ring. It just looked like when both Jeff and Matt Hardy were trying their best to eliminate Braun Strowman, and then they come out and they try to get him eliminated, but try to eliminate Braun Strowman at the same time. But unfortunately, Braun Strowman kicked out of it. He eliminated the Hardy Boys. They eventually just tossed these two nitwits to the side and won the matchup. Finally, after a 3-0 start, I finally get a win. Now I'm now 1-3. One of the surprises of the night, Alexa Bliss introduced Hulk Hogan. Yes, Hogan was there at WrestleMania. He had a nice little pop. They had a nice little thing that going on. The fans enjoyed it a bit. Interesting to see Hulk Hogan after what he's been through, but it's nice to see him get a nice applause. It would have been nice to see if he actually makes another appearance tonight to see if he'll get the same type of reaction. But it was nice to see Hulk Hogan back in the WWE. Now, a funny thing happened, and a lot of people were surprised. This led off to the matchup was the Universal Championship. Paul Heenan walked down to the ring and threatened and said if Brock Roman was not going to main event WrestleMania, he's going to wrestle now because he's got better things to do. He's going to come, win the matchup, and go fly out to Vegas. And even before the match even started, he was Braun Strowman was beating the crap out of Seth Rollins even before the bell rang. By the time the bell rang, he had already beat the crap out of him. But unfortunately, right no sooner than the match started, and Lesnar bumped the ref. He gets Seth Rollins gives him a low blow and gives him three curb stomps before he actually pins and wins the Universal title. A very quick matchup, but very physical matchup, which I thought was pretty good. Obviously, there's rumors going around that Brock Lesnar wants to take some time off so he can train and fight this Daniel Cormier for the UFC heavyweight title. That's why I'm thinking this was happening. But Seth Rollins is your new Universal Championship. And now I am 2-3. Yes, I'm coming back, baby. Singles matchup between AJ Styles and Randy Orton. It was a pretty good matchup. Despite the slow kind of build that was made. They had some pretty good spots in there. There was one time AJ Styles was trying his best to avoid the RKO. There was one spot when he was trying to do the phenomenal elbow, and Randy Orton caught him with a quick RKO. Everyone thought that the match was over with, but AJ Styles clicked out of it. Kind of a short matchup because after that he was able to counter him back with a chin breaker and followed the rules with a perfect phenomenal elbow and pin Randy Orton to win the matchup. And I'm now even at 3-3 for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Despite the afterthought how this was booked, actually a pretty interesting matchup. Everyone got their spots in there. We had some nice spots. There was one point where Cesaro did his swing around the ring for almost good 3 minutes. I almost felt sorry for Ricochet. Sheamus was doing his little mash against almost all the 5 opponents right there. So that lasted for a good 3 minutes. Got the crowd riled up. Everything was pretty good. I actually thought that Aleister Black and Ricochet was going to win the titles, but the Usos wound up retaining the titles. Now back to 3-4. In the Falls Count Anywhere matchup between Shane McMahon and The Miz. This was actually pretty interesting because halfway through the matchup, The Miz's father, George Mazzani, actually came out and got in between Shane and The Miz because Shane was about to do another one of his incredible stunts, and because The Miz was on the table, and he actually came into the ring and tried to defend his son, which I thought was pretty interesting. Of course, that didn't lead to anything other than him getting a beatdown, but it did get The Miz riled up enough to start beating the crap out of Shane. They eventually made their way out into the arena. They got into some lightning scaffolds. He gave Shane McMahon the skull crushing finale, one of those things, but he kicked out of it. The match went up, going up to some of the camera spots, and The Miz did this awesome suplex off of one of the camera stands, and they hit, well, obviously a padded area, but it was still, even though it was probably padded, it was still a nice spot to do. But unfortunately for The Miz, Shane landed on top of him, and he wound up getting pinned for it. So Shane McMahon wins the matchup. No, not a safe way to win. I don't think, well, this is not the end of this feud. I'm pretty sure they'll probably have something for Money in the Bank, or maybe something later on down the line, maybe a Hell in a Cell matchup to finally settle this feud between the two of them. But it was actually pretty good. I enjoy how it was matched. I like how Shane had performed. Shane's a pretty good in-ring performer when he puts his mind into it. And, yeah, so I enjoyed it, even though I did pick The Miz to win. So that drops me down to 3-5. For the Women's Tag Team Championships and the surprise move, the Iconics win the title. There were fun spots in this matchup. I like Beth Phoenix, again, looks like she's never missed any time in the ring. We, like I say, had nice spots. There were some fun moments. One where Natalya placed both shots at Banks and Bayley in a sharpshooter at the same time. Later on in the match, we saw Snuka and Jax combine for a double Samoan drops on the Iconics, which I thought was funny. But at the end of the matchup, made the Iconics win, Beth Phoenix gave the Glam Slam to Bayley. But at the same time, I think it was Kay tagged tagged in by slapping Phoenix on her butt, and she just as she got the just as Beth Phoenix got the slam in, Kay pulled her out the ring and made her friend get the pin, and they won the title, which is kind of nice because these two have been friends since childhood. They're living their dream. They all wanted to become WWE. They wanted to come wrestle in the WWE. They got their chance, so now they get to shine for a few months. So, unfortunately, I did pick Nia Jax and Tamina to win the titles. So now I'm down to 3-6. I consider this the match of the night. Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, this obviously everyone was into. This was a great matchup. Daniel Bryan was pulling all the stops up, making sure that Kofi did not do anything, and Kofi was doing the same thing. This shows you how a great in-ring performer Kofi Kingston is, because every time when Daniel Bryan would try to do something, Kofi had a counter for it. But also the same way, too. Both these men were going back and forth. There was a time you could hear the fans, not only in the stands, but you even had some of the wrestlers in the background cheering for Kofi. At the end, Kofi Kingston actually won the matchup. Daniel Bryan had a running knee. Everyone thought the match was over. Kofi kicked out of it. Everyone was cheering. The fans were going crazy. And at the end of the night, Kofi was able to get his Trapped in Paradise. Just give me a second. Trouble in Paradise. To finish off, and the fireworks went off the way. His New Day friends got into the ring. Kofi had his sons come up there, and he celebrated. So it's a very, very nice way. It was the only way they could have booked this, because I don't think the WWE didn't want to piss the fans off. So this was a nice win for Kofi. I don't know how long they're going to have him hold the title. If they want to make him a credible champion, I'm pretty sure they'll have a match booked for a Money in the Bank match. He should keep it at least maybe until SummerSlam if you want to make him a credible champion. But I don't know how long I'm going to keep the title. But hey, look, it was nice for him to get the win. I did think that Daniel Bryan to win the matchup. But hey, look, I'm happy for Kofi. For the United States Championship and in short squash matchup, obviously due to time constraints and the fact that Rey Mysterio had I think he sprained his ankle, and he was not definitely 100%. But give him credit, he went out there, he gutted it out. He knew he was going to do the job. He came in there, got one of his spots in there, but Samoa Joe was able to get the Kuna Clutch on him and actually win the matchup. So it was a nice matchup, and I did pick Samoa Joe, so now I'm back to 4-7. And a very short matchup and kind of a little lackluster. Roman Reigns defeated Drew McIntyre. I kind of like Drew McIntyre. He seems to be this huge Scottish monster that I believe he deserves a title reign because he could be one of the top heels if booked right. But I guess it's just Raymond's. If put it this way, if Roman Reigns probably did not come back or had that time off because of his battle with leukemia, I think they would have booked this differently because this is his first real singles matchup since he's been back. So he won the matchup fair and square. You got to give it to him. I thought it was kind of a controversial booking, but it's not going to make Drew McIntyre look weak by any means necessary. I'm pretty sure the WWE has planned for Drew McIntyre. But that brings me back up to 5-7. Yes, I'm coming back, guys. Now, we had another spot with Elias sitting in the ring playing guitar. He actually had a film of himself playing the piano and the drums. While he was playing another song, they had this little montage of the 1932 World Series. And then out comes John Cena back to his former heel gimmick, Doctor of Thermonomics. He eventually did this nice little rap song and gave him the 5-knuckle shuffle and not just the attitude adjustment, but his old move called the FU. So I thought it was a nice little spot to see John Cena come in there. In the no-holds-barred matchup between Batista and Triple H, it was a very good matchup. being these guys are one is over 50 and another one's 50. I actually thought Dave Batista actually did a good job for him not being in the ring for I think for over 5 years now. And he looked like he hasn't missed a step up. He's still powerful. He's still strong. I like some of the spots that he and Triple H did. There was one point in the matchup where Triple H took out his nose ring with the pliers. Then we saw Ric Flair come into the ring later on in the matchup against Triple H his trusty sledgehammer. And eventually Triple H won the matchup. Like I said, it was a pretty good matchup. I enjoyed it very much. That means I also won another matchup, so that makes me up to 6-7. In this farewell matchup, Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin. And I guess, being with the history that they have, I guess that's the reason why they let Baron Corbin win this matchup. Obviously, Angle is not the same type of wrestler he was several years ago, so you can tell that. But it was nice to see, Angle said thank you very much. Even though he lost, he thanked the fans very much. He played his music, and everyone cheered for him. And it was just like, I just wish they had picked a better opponent. It would have been nice to see John Cena going against Kurt Angle, because we all know, I think it was back in '92, if I got my years right, that John Cena made his debut against Kurt Angle. Obviously, back when Kurt Angle is a much more better wrestler than he is right now. Yeah, so, it was nice. Kurt Angle had a nice, really good career. It was nice to see him back in the WWE. And I wish he would have picked a better deployment for him. But I did pick Kurt Angle to win the matchup, so that makes me fall to 6-8. In another quick matchup, probably due to time constraints, we have Finn Balor dressed up as the Demon versus Bobby Lashley for the Intercontinental Championship. Bobby Lashley got a nice spot in here when he actually drove Finn Balor through the barricade in the audience. But eventually, Finn Balor won the matchup rather quickly to become the new IC title holder. I like his demon character. I wish he would have made this match a little bit better. But again, because of time constraints, they had to get this out quickly. Oh, by the way, since I did pick Finn Balor, that makes me 7-8. And now the main event, what everyone was watching about. Winner-take-all matchup for the Raw and Women's SmackDown Championships. Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte Flair. Now, this was a pretty good matchup, as all three women really did their best to put on a good show. And it did get a bit physical at times. Unfortunately, at times where some of the spots they did missed. So at times, a bit sloppy. But that's because all the women were trying their best to do what they can. There was one point where Charlotte Flair gave two natural disasters, natural selections to Lynch and Rousey. Rousey was trying to do both arm bars to both Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. It kind of ended on a lackluster or a quick note. It looks like Ronda Rousey had thrown Charlotte Flair out of the ring, and she was about to give Becky Lynch the Piper's Pit. And somehow Becky Lynch was able to reverse the hold and pin her down 1-3. Although it did look like Ronda Rousey got her shoulder up. But they wound up winning the matchup, which I thought was rather quickly. Now, again, I don't know if it's because of time restraints, because by the time this match started, it was already going on 12 midnight. Yeah, so that's probably the reason why they ended it quickly. I was looking for a kind of a better pin like that, but then again, like I said, this match had started around almost close to 12 midnight by the time this match gets started. But eventually, Becky Lynch wins the matchup. I did pick her, so I wound up being even at 8-8. So, my wrestling fans, what do you think about this year's WrestleMania? Do you think it was a bit too long? Did you enjoy all the cards? Which matches did you like? Or how well did your predictions do? Did you did as good as me, bad as me, or did you even out? Leave your comments down in the comment section below. Tell me what you thought about this year's WrestleMania. So, my wrestling fans, that's my video for today, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up, because it does help the channel out a lot. And once again, if this is your first time here, please hit that subscriber button. Ring that notification bell. That way you can come and enjoy the horror experience with me, the Horror Miser Monty G. And as always, all my social media links will be down in the description box below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror and wrestling rules. Stone Cold, take us home. We're out.
And that's the bottom line. Go Stone Cold Simpson.